Default is a new Korean drama film about the economic crisis that happened in 1997. I'm not Korean and I'm not familiar with the whole crisis, so I went into this movie kind of blind. Didn't know much about the plot except that it was similar in vein to The Big Short. So this film is about three different characters. It's an ensemble film. There's Miss Han. She is an employee for the Bank of Canada. She's a really good expert. She's been sort of ready for this, and she has a contingency plan for the economic crisis. The economic crisis is that Korea is going bankrupt, and within a week they will run out of money. So she has a plan immediately. However, she gets overshadowed by a few other politicians and ones in power that have their own sort of agenda. So they sort of push her out. Most of her story is about conflict with these other people. The other two characters, there's Yoon. He is a young hotshot investment banker who quits because he wants to take advantage of the upcoming financial crisis. He's able to guess, and probably the most important part of the film, he explains why Korea is going bankrupt. He's able to snag two investors that he's worked with in the past, and they plan to use the economic crisis to their own advantage to become rich. And lastly, there's another character who is a normal blue-collar worker guy. He works in a factory and he owns a factory that makes metal bowls, and he finds his life spiraling out of control when the company that ordered a whole bunch of bowls goes bankrupt, and he's left with a promissory note, and he owes different people a large amount of money, and he's unable to get more from the people who promised him money. So this film is a really interesting film. Even though I wasn't familiar with any of the story, it managed to keep me engaged and invested throughout the entire film. The movie is wonderfully directed. It seamlessly moves in between each character over and over. Even though they're different, it still makes you interested. I thought that was really interesting to see the different perspectives, because Miss Han is the sort of the expert of the financial numbers, and she's trying to stop it. Yoon is just trying to take advantage, and they also show you what happens to the regular working common man who just tries to deal with this. From his level, it's the biggest thing that could ever happen to his life. Meanwhile, the other two, they'll probably be relatively safe even after. Default is a really interesting film. It's got decent acting. I really liked how the movie is able to not dumb things down too much, but just keep it, you invested just enough by giving you enough to go with. The music is very pulse-pounding, almost like a thriller, to almost keep it going. And I really liked bringing in Vincent Cassel. He makes a really good role as an IMF negotiator. So Default is very similar to The Big Short. If you're into financial or business movies or things like it, like Wolf of Wall Street or other movies like that, then Default is definitely something you can check out. It's a really interesting film. I give Default a 7.5 out of 10.